Hello and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, thank you for tuning into a video. My name is Laniece. I am a registered nurse and I do these cool little nursing videos. If you are not new here and you are a subscriber, thank you so much for tuning into another video of mine. I really appreciate it. If you are not a subscriber, I just ask that you please subscribe, because I do these cool little nursing videos and I think that they're very informational. So anyways, we will get straight to the point. Today I am here to talk about something that is going to eventually affect all of us nurses, but right now it may start affecting us travel nurses, is the fact that they are trying to cap travel nurse pay in some states. And I say that some states, but eventually all states may start to follow. We just never know what the outcome of this is going to be. So we need to go ahead and keep our eyes peeled to it now. So on January 24th, a bipartisan letter, bipartisan meaning both someone from the Democratic Party and the Republican Party both agree and had this letter, sent a bipartisan letter to Jeffrey Zients. He is the coronavirus response coordinator at the White House. Anyways, they sent this man a letter telling him that they feel like the FTC needs to look into price gouging by nursing staffing agencies. Basically saying that they feel like nursing staffing agencies are taking advantage of the dire need of nurses right now in these facilities and jacking up the prices, charging 2 to 3 times more what they normally charge to get nurses into the building, jacking up the prices and charging, and then on top of that, taking like 40% of the total charges that they're charging for these nurses. So these hospitals are getting really pissed, basically, that they're having to pay so much for nurses, because first of all, these hospitals just want us to act like the pandemic never happened. Now, don't get me wrong, I work for some pretty good hospitals. I'm not gonna lie. My hospital that I was working for as a staff member full time, I didn't leave. I still work there PRN because they're trying to get it together a little bit. They are giving us bonuses, but when it comes to making extra money at the hospital, it's basically just incentive pay. You have to work 40 hours in order to get another amount, in order to get some extra money, whereas as a travel nurse, you can work your 36 and still make way more. So it's not much incentive right now for us to work staff in the hospital outside of benefits or 401k. But anyways, this letter is stating that they feel like nursing staffing agencies are, price gouging. Now, how do I feel about that? I feel like if they are the only way that these facilities are going to get nurses into the building, then you gotta do what you gotta do, because it's obvious that these facilities are not going to go up in pay for staff nurses. There are still staff nurses who are being started off at $25 an hour, $27 an hour. These banks nowadays, BB&T is, well, they're Truist now, I believe, but they were starting their tellers off at $20 an hour. So you're telling me that these women, or I'm sorry, nursing is not just women, that people go to school for 2 years, 4 years, and bust their behind, and they're able to go and not make much more money working a job that you have so much responsibility, you have so much physical work that goes into it, so much mental, it requires so much of your mental capacity during the day, your emotional capacity. It plays on all of those things. And you work odd hours. Sometimes you can't get on day shift. You go through all of that, and you're telling me that someone that's not even a position that doesn't require any type of education, well, outside of a high school diploma, and you get to work 9 to 5 and you don't have to work weekends, and we're getting started off around the same thing. Granted, yeah, they might be giving us weekend pay or nighttime incentives, but $1, $2, maybe $4, that's not enough. These hospitals refuse to pay nurses what they know they deserve. Nursing is, even though the educational requirements to be a nurse may not be up there with a doctor, a lot of the responsibility for these people fall on the nurses, because For one, doctors will constantly tell you you don't have to contact me for that. But then as soon as the ball drops on something, it's why didn't you contact me for that? So we have a lot of responsibility. Nursing is a very physical job, a lot of bending, a lot of pushing, a lot of everything, you know, squatting. It's very physical, a lot of walking, standing. And then on top of that, emotionally, you know, you go through a huge range of emotions in a very short period of time in a 12-hour shift. On a 12-hour shift one day, I had someone who had a chemical abortion and somebody who had a heart attack on the same shift. I'm taking care of both of these people, and on top of someone who is on hospice care, so they're dying and their family is sad. Like, it plays on your emotions. Nursing is a very hard career. And the fact that these hospitals don't believe that we're worth it, we ourselves have to believe that we're worth the extra pay. But now that we are realizing that we are worth the extra pay and these facilities are having to come out of pocket with it, what they're doing is they're now trying to cap our wages, and also hire nurses from outside of the country to bring them in the country, offer them U.S. citizenship, and pay them less so they can have nursing staff. Now that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. That's something we'll have to get into another day. But right now, focusing on pay caps, I think that this is crazy. So 2 states are already on board. Massachusetts and Minnesota are both already on board. So in the state of Massachusetts, they already have a pay cap. Now, I did read that these states kind of had to go up on their pay cap and in some places totally rescind the pay cap because they were unable to get help, which should tell them something. However, in, you know, one state, the maximum amount of money that an RN can make through an agency is $58 an hour and $99.90 an hour in holiday pay, which is, I mean, that's nothing. You know what I mean? That's nothing. I'm making well above that in holiday pay and hourly pay on my current contract to drive an hour and a half away and work 3 nights a week. So I don't know, you know, but I think it's concerning because just like with how, take for example, how the pandemic, you know, was taken care of. The states that were hit the hardest, New York, California, I believe Washington, those states were the states that had to learn first. Those states were the ones who had to put different pandemic protocols in, who had to make mask mandates first, and all the other states, once it started trickling to those other states, fell in line. The same way that most of these states took care of the problem the same exact way. And I feel like it can happen like that with travel nurse pay caps. If these states if one state says, hey, we have a pay cap and it's kind of working for us, then other states will fall in line and start to make pay caps. So I say that because, you know, if that is the case, if there is a point in time where we really won't be able to make the amount of money that we are making, we want to be financially responsible right now. And we want to save, you know, in articles that I've read or like the Twitter threads that I've read about travel nurses, a lot of them have said, I have had my best year ever. I have had a great year, and I'm sitting on so much savings right now that I can take off work for 6 months. If us as nurses, one, always remember our worth and remember that we deserve to be paid what we're being paid, and 2, are financially responsible with our money and get our savings up, we can take time off of work like that. We can strike. We can do the necessary to fight back if something happens to where they are trying to where they really are able to try to cap our pay. Now, do I foresee it happening in the near future? No, not at all. I do not. I mean, everyone is leaving to travel at this point. If you are not traveling, it's none of my business why you're not doing it, but I am begging you, I am telling you, you know, it is a saturated market, but the fact that these facilities need the help, it's always going to be a travel nurse contract out there. Just do what you do and be a responsible nurse, but please get out here and know your worth. Make sure that you are genuinely happy where you work. The floor that I work on now as a travel nurse, I am one of 2 travel nurses. And everybody that works on that floor has been there for like 2 years plus, which means they really like the floor. Either they're very brainwashed or they really like the floor. And I can understand why they really like the floor. It is a really good floor. So if you're getting paid what you feel like you deserve to get paid, I wouldn't leave either. So I don't blame them. But it's not like that at a lot of places. Like, this is the uniform unit that I work on currently. I have no idea how it got to be so good, but that is a whole nother thing. So it's two sides to this argument that I have read or I have watched videos on. One side is basically saying the FTC is here to protect the consumer. Now, don't get me wrong, the FTC deal with the government, so I'm sure it's like colluding going on, and you know, a lot of shiesty stuff going on behind the background or in the background. But the FTC, which is the Federal Trade Commission, is put in place to investigate things like this, like price gouging. And so some people are saying, well, they're not necessarily trying to put a pay cap on travel nurse pay. What they're trying to do is they're trying to make sure nurses are getting paid what they're worth, and trying to make sure that these agencies aren't charging more than what they really should. But the thing is here, first of all, they need to mind their business. You know, what anybody's getting paid is not they. No, I'm just playing. But the thing here is, say that they do say, okay, these agencies are charging way too much for nurses and they're taking 40%. These agencies aren't going to say, okay, well, we'll start taking 30% and still allow the travel nurses to get paid what they're going to get paid. No. If they go down on what they're charging travel nurses to put travel nurses in facility, the nurse is going to also feel that in a pay cut. So, you know, regardless if they're being accused of price gouging and the FTC is here to make sure that the nurses are protected, if they stop charging what they're charging, we're going to stop making what we're making regardless. Now, so I believe that it should be viewed as, look, these nurses are not getting paid what they want to get paid. We have nurses on our staffing agency. We have the right to charge whatever we want to charge, which they're saying is kind of like a monopoly, and you know, the FTC is supposed to stop that, because since there is no competition with these nursing agencies, these hospitals can't compete. The FTC is supposed to do something about that. That's what it's there for, and I understand that, but I still feel like in this situation, it's just not right. You know, and then the other side of the argument is basically kind of what I just said. You know, yeah, the FTC is there to protect us, but at the end of it's supposed to be there to protect the consumer. But in this case, the nurses aren't really the consumer. The hospital is the consumer. And so if they do put any type of caps in place, we're gonna feel it. We're gonna feel it. So I just wanted to make a brief video about that. And also kind of just want to talk about what does that mean for us out, you know, or how should we think about these things. So of course, like I just said, we definitely need to look at the fact that we may not be making as much money. The amount of money we're making right now is like, we need to cherish it, be grateful for it, because it's not going to be here forever, you guys. It's not going to be here forever. It might be here for a while, but everybody knows it's not going to be here for forever. So be financially responsible. You know, live within your means. Do not bring your lifestyle up to here and it only be up to here because of your nursing wages. No, you need to be investing in something. So when they cut back in this area, you're still making money off your real estate. You're still making your money off your stocks and bonds. Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't got no real estate yet. I ain't in the stock market yet, but I'm getting there. I'm trying to get myself to the point to where by the time all of this ends and I might have to go back to working as staff nurse, or I honestly want to work from home. I want to work from home nursing job. When I get in those kinds of positions and I'm not making the kind of money I'm making now, I can still live because I'm debt free and because I have investments and stuff like that. So I said that because things like this should make you think about things like that. You know, you should be thinking about that. And also, we have to look at the fact that nurses, we have to know our worth. We have to know our worth, because one video I was watching, it talks about how, you know, it went through different bills that have been presented to help protect nurses that have been sent off to, you know, I don't know the whole process of a bill turning into a law. I know I should probably know that from Schoolhouse Rock, but I do not remember, you guys. But anyways, it went into how a lot of bills have been written to protect the safety of nurses, you know, to protect nurses from being assaulted on while working to protect nurses through safe staffing ratios, and none of these bills have been passed. Some of these bills were passed in 2020, 2021, years ago, but as soon as they start trying to put bills in place for nursing pay caps, you best believe these things are being taken care of and spoken about fast. So it's like they clearly, hospitals and facilities clearly know our worth, but they want us to not know our worth, you know, and continue to kind of sit around and be abused, sit around and work for pennies, and only be able to make money whenever we're busting our ass trying to get incentive pay and overtime. Like, these facilities, they don't want us to know our worth, and I just pray that we know our worth and we also do, you know, are financially responsible. And that's what I'm here for. Like, these are the kind of videos that I want to do, type of topics that I want to talk about. So I wanted to let you guys know that, and I hope that this video was informational and helpful. If you guys have any questions about you know, what I said, or you want to know like what articles I read or anything, just comment down below, and I'll, you know, maybe leave that in a comment or something if I see that a lot of people are interested. And if there are any other nursing topics that you guys want me to talk about, please drop those comments down below. But really, you guys, I think I'm all talked out, and I think that I'm head on out now. So peace.